Today I want to talk about another lockdown deck I've been using. So, in case you all wanted to know why I'm using lockdown, we go take a look, and we go back out of here for a second. We go look. There's this guy. Vi. Yeah, lockdown just beats this most of the time because they don't have their leader, so they can't activate that. And if you have enough locks saved for their consume cards, they just can't get a Vi consume off and you win the game. And the other one is Lippy. So Lippy decks are actually playing around lockdown a bit. So they can set up their totem and maybe get some setup damage that way without you being able to lock it because it's an artifact. And no one's really going to bother to banish that. But those decks are super common and they're super annoying. Because a lot of times you just, well, some decks just can't beat them. Just like straight up just can't beat them. And sometimes you just want free wins, so you pick lockdown, and if you match up against them, it's usually a win. Although, to be honest, I've seen a lot of other lockdown decks so far. And whenever you see a lot of lockdown, it tends to say that a deck is extremely strong and very polarizing in the meta because everyone's just trying to counter it with lockdown because they can't find another way to beat it. But I'm not saying that's the case. I don't know about any of that stuff. I just play the game with what the cards are. And speaking about what the cards are, see what we have in the deck. So, there's really only a couple power cards we can put in lockdown, right? So, look at the big point value cards, right? There's like a few options. If you're going lockdown, you can either primarily get your points from Masquerade Ball, or your value and tempo, like value and tempo in one card. Masquerade Ball gives you a ton. Usurper Officer can give you a ton when you upgrade them into General and then Emperor, right? Because the Emperor one will give you 12. If you have anything out that gets boosts when they have Spying or gain statuses, like the Aristocrats, then you get more points. And that's another big play you can do. And the other one is if you're playing Lockdowns, you can go for Colgrim, right? He's a 9. So you can play a Colgrim deck and you thin your deck super hard and you end up with Colgrim getting like 10 points a turn or something. And you can Letho Kingslayer it if you want to. Or you can play, I've seen people playing Serrit Nova variants too, so you can do that. Those are the big options I see it when I'm making a lockdown deck. It's Masquerade Ball, Colgrim. You can also kind of play Witchers if you want to have fun, but I don't think it's as good. With like Vesemir and full Witchers, that's what I'm saying. So if we take a look at what we went with, I went for the Masquerade Ball just because, honestly, Masquerade Ball is pretty cool. And I wanted to hear Clear's played it since you hear their new sound. I think they said they put on the premium scenarios, so I've used it for that honestly this first time. But for now, it's a really good card, and since we're playing Masquerade Ball, this is my opinion. You can think differently. If I play Masquerade Ball or a scenario, I'm putting a Niromancy in the deck because if I don't draw it, it just feels too bad. Could play like Mada to draw it, but I just prefer a Niromancy. The double play is super nice. The Echo. Then since I made a deck, the deck has Heatwave in it because I want to banish scenarios. So yeah, making the deck has Heatwave in it. And then speaking about the other cards, since we're playing with Masquerade Ball, we need Aristocrats. And usually we look at the Aristocrats for a second. The ones that usually get put in the deck are the 2 Van Morlehem Hunters and the 2 Thirsty Dames, right? There's 4. And then usually you have Roderick of Duntine, although sometimes he plays out the scenario for you. And then usually I like to have 6 of the Aristocrats. You can have more, you can have less, it's up to you. I usually like to play with 6. So for the last one I put in Vincent Van Morlehem because it's very strong. You can also play Kair. If they don't have an answer to Kair, you win sometimes. Actually, a lot of times you just win if they don't have an answer, but usually have an answer, then it feels bad. You can also play Felipe if you want. Although, I just went for Vincent because I like him better. Oh, you can also play Joachim. It's not a bad option either. And then, since we have... Speaking of the Aristocrats, we also are playing the Van Morlehem Hunters and the Roderick and the Thirsty Dames. As far as the other cards, Invocation, because we're playing in Nilfgaard. That's a good card. I think everyone knows that at this point, though. And then I added in a couple locks because I want locks to deal with things that have order or consume for Vi or stuff like that. So we have actually the Letho, Auckes, and Serrit group because I think they're pretty fun and I like playing around with them. Plus, if you have all three, it's a lot of value. Letho gets a lock, Serrit does 4 damage, Auckes gets another lock. Sometimes you might actually use the Auckes more than one lock, although I found that it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, if these guys are in your hand, that's really nice. And I think it's more fun than playing with some of the newer cards, honestly. Or some of the older cards, rather, like the Cantarella and whatever his name is that puts the card on top of your opponent's deck combo. That's something you substitute in here for these guys if you want to. You play Aura the All-Seeing, and you play in Cantarella, and you can put their Tyrus Provision card on top and steal it. I found that was a little too gimmicky, but you can do it if you want to. It's not a bad option. And then we have Van Morlehem Cupbearer. I put him in here because I wanted some additional poisons. So I have 2 Fangs of the Empire, and I had add a Van Morlehem Cupbearer. Also, the Purify is really nice if they try and use a Defender, although you can poison the Defender too. But the thing about poisoning Defenders, it takes 2 turns, right? So if they play the Defender, you put a poison on, they play the Scenario, you play second poison, they'll get at least 1 activation of the Scenario, and I'd rather just Purify it. Purify is pretty strong. And then we're playing Vadamar. We're playing a bunch of locks. Like I said earlier, we're playing 2 Van Morlehem Hunters. We're also playing 2 Elba Armored Cavalries. That's 4 locks. Auckes, Letho, and Serrit. Oh, Auckes and Letho specifically give us 2 more, so that's 6. That's 6 locks. If we go first, we have a 7th. That's plenty of locks, plenty enough for us to find value from Vadamar. And then we have Roger Kiptuntine, I mentioned earlier, the Cavalries. Hunting packs, since we're not using soldiers other than Nausicaa Sergeants, playing Imperial Brigade didn't make sense, and I wanted to have at least a little bit of thinning, so with Hunting Pack, like I said, we have like 6 or 7 possible locks, and that's plenty to activate out your Hunting Pack, especially in round 1. If you have one of the Hunting Packs and you go first, you can just use the collar, block something, deal with it, and then get your cards out from Hunting Pack, which is nice. Thirsty Ding gives you a lot of points. Now for the 4 provision cards, because there's a lot of 4 provision cards in most lockdown decks, especially if you're playing the Masquerade Ball, because you still have 3 provisions for your deck. So normally I play Magni Divisions, right? But I want to try out Master of Disguise, because Master of Disguise seems like it can be pretty good. So we're trying that out instead. And the other option is you can play, if you want to put in Tourney Joust for more removal, you can. For this deck, I went with locks over removal, right? So there's no Ultra Thunders, there's no Tourney Joust, no Assassinations, no Coded Weapons. Just went with locks instead. I was finding that with the removal cards, a lot of the times it wasn't enough, and that if I had just played a lock, it would have been better. And you can do either one. They're both good. You could add some in here. So for example, instead of Thanks the Empire, you put Tourney Joust. If you want to play the Cantarella and All-Seeing, you can drop like Letho, Auckes, and Serrit. They give you some extra provisions, so you can bump up the, like drop these 2 guys, and then add in, say, 2 Assassinates, 2 Alzur's Thunders or something. You can do that, it's fine. And that's the deck. And maybe we'll talk about some of the changes to it later, but let's see how it does in some games. So first game here, let's take a look at what we have. Up against Ursine Ritual, so I'm guessing this is a Lippy deck, since that's all they ever are anymore. Yeah. Let's see, have Auckes. This hand's not too bad. Master of Disguise and Nausicaa Sergeant are 2 4 provision engines. I'm assuming one will die. Probably to like Gutting Slash or something. I don't think I need the poison. Honey Pack was good. Let's keep this. Maybe one of the 2 4 provision engines will live now. Savage Bear, okay. So, thinking about this matchup, I think I have a really good chance of winning because he can't easily activate his Lippy and all of the cards he wants, right? So, his Blue Boy Lugos won't get much value, or the Champion of Small Blood. Well, I think I've mostly just seen Blue Boy Lugos recently. Yeah, there's the Gutting Slash. We're going to lose this guy. So, there's a decent chance our Master of Disguise lives, and we can play a lock afterward, start boosting it. It's not a bad option. He's going to want to put Savage Bear poison us something eventually. So yeah, like I'm saying, I think we have a good chance here. He won't be able to get much value out of his cards. It's pretty likely we can actually deny him Ceres and the Shield Maiden value. So that's good. I guess we'll just... he killed that too. This will play Thirsty Dame. Maybe he won't kill this. I'll give us some points over the round. He's played 2 removal cards already. I'm guessing we'll just get the poison, or the bleeding off on this one. So I think that's the game plan here, is just play a normal game as best we can. There's always a risk with Lippy that they push you hard round 2. But I'm not concerned about that, because I already have an Ironmancy. He looks like he's going to push hard in round 2. I'm just going to drop the scenario. Masquerade Ball right away. Right. There's not really to get a card advantage in round 3. Right? If we get a card advantage in round 3, he doesn't have his deck swap, we're in a good spot. We'll just lock that order. Deny those 2 bleedings. There's probably not going to be anything else worth locking. If there is, we have Auckes. And then hopefully next turn we can play a Hunting Pact, right? Drummond Berserker. Alright, he's gonna have what? He's up by 15. 14? Okay, now he's up by 16. I don't think I can come back in 2 cards here without wasting something. So we're just gonna pass. I'm not concerned about Hunting Pact not coming out yet. We'll have a chance to get it out later. So yeah, my guess is he's gonna push hard this round and try and win the game, because it's gonna be hard for him to get value from what he normally would consider his deck's value in the Lippy and the Ritual Charges and Blue Boy Lugos. I think he's gonna try and win this round. Okay, so we got the scenario too. Perfect. The 2 Hunting Pacts isn't great, but get rid of 1. I'll get rid of this Nausicaa Sergeant 2. Although it's not a bad first play. Because we are gonna have to... Yeah, I think we'll get rid of it. Things the Empire is not bad either, in case he has a Purify or something. Or he's something who transforms into something else. Say he does actually play Champion of Small Blood, we poison it, he transforms it to the 12-point version. Although I find that hard to believe. Actually... Oh, this is annoying. So, the Small Blood Totem. So I can't lock it because it's an artifact. I'm not going to Heat Wave that. So I guess that he's going to be able to activate his Shield Maiden from Serrit. Huh. Alright. Well, no, because if we get rid of the one on the right, he'll be able to, right? But then if he does that, it forces him to commit hard to the round, right? So if we want to... We could play the scenario right now, right? We could drop Masquerade Ball. And then end up killing the guy on the right. And then he'll play Serrit. If he plays Serrit, we'll get up a card, go up a card. Because he's not going to have another way to activate Serrit in round 3 without us having a chance to interact. Like lock it or whatever, the Shield Maiden.
Hey, listen here. Listen well.
So we're gonna play scenario, no Heat Wave. I've noticed that most of these Lippy decks, I'm not sure if this is true still, or it's just because it's never sure, because it's just the decks you play. Most of them seem to run Geralt Igni for their big removal card instead of Heat Wave or something. I could poison one of these guys and get Hunting Pact going. I'm not really sure what Vincent's gonna be for. Guess we'll go Roderick. We don't have many choices here. Vanimar's not great. Serrit's okay. I mean, actually, Vanimar's terrible. Serrit's okay. Go poison in that 4-point. Kill this guy on the right. You know, if I was planning on baiting out of Serrit or something, probably shouldn't have put Roderick there, but whatever. That was a... That's a suspicious plan anyway, isn't it, right? Just not let him do it. Okay, there's a Vildkarl. I want him to make Vildkarl. I want him to make it, because if he makes it, I can put on top of my deck with Invocation. That's... I would consider that a guarantee of a win at round 3. If we're up a card and we have a Champion of Small Blood drawn, I would, at that point, I'd be very confident we'd win that round. So I want him to transform this. So I'm not going to poison it or lock it, even though I could. Cutting Slash. Easy just... Okay, so Serrit is coming down. He Gutting Slash his own card so he can Serrit and hit the Shield Maiden. I was telling him he has his Lippy in his hand now. And he wants to win this game in round 2. Unfortunately for him, I think I have all I need to stop that from actually happening. So Heat Wave, we could... see here, I'm thinking about Heat Waving the Totem, since he's clearly setting something up with it. But I'm not really that concerned about Serrit, right? Because we're up 11, the big point swing's going to come. If we go to round 3, I'll be up a card, so that'll be pretty good. He still has his Lippy swap. I'm guessing he wants to use that this round, based on how he's playing. Just want Armancy out something. There's Dame for a second.
Don't ask a lady her age. It's
Aristocrat. Oh, we might not want to play Vincent. I'm really trying to get him to transform this champion of Small Blood, so I put it top of my deck. Normally you wouldn't poison this, because if he transforms it, you lose the poison value. Why is there a triangle with a triangle on us? Alright. I mean, it's a cool card and it's not bad or anything, but really didn't see that coming. I guess that's his removal card, so I guess there's no Igni then. No Igni or Heatwave, use of that instead. It's interesting. So there's the Serrit. He set this up by gutting slashing his own guy, which is a -2 play. Makes me feel pretty good. And there we go, so there's the Serrit. We're still at 12. I don't really want to commit too much. I guess we really should kill the champion of Small Blood at this point. Or I could just lock the 4-version guy and hope he actually transform it so I can take it. I really want to take that champion of Small Blood. I'm not gonna lie. Might just lock the other guy. Yeah. I really should just kill it. But like, round 3 is gonna be fine, because we're still gonna have all our good cards, right? I just want it. I just lock the other guy, and maybe he'll transform it. And if he doesn't transform it, we still have Invocation for later. Although there's not that many high provision, like high value Invocation targets, because oh, there's some Lippy. So many low points. I think we're still fine, right? Still up 7. Alright, I'm just gonna... I guess at this point we have to poison the champion of Small Blood. There's no other play. Yeah, there's no other play. This doesn't make sense to not do it at this point. So we're gonna poison him. Kinda confused. What's his last card? Is it his Igni? Igni's worth 10. 12. It's not enough. Actually, it's worth 13. So it would make us play another card out. But I imagine he's just gonna pass here. Have his deck set up maybe for round 3. I'm pretty confident with where we are at this point. I think we got this. Lippy is so hard to play if you've been locked down. It could be his Blue Boy Lugos. No, he has Champion Soul, but oh, it's an Yrden. That's not enough.
Let's get this over with.
Alright, buddy, you just went down 2 cards for no reason. Okay, so here's the thing. He Lippied with his Serrit on the field, so it won't be in his deck again. Most of his good cards are on the field right now. So I'm not really I'm almost 100% sure I won this game at this point. So Master of Disguise and Cavalry. I don't think there's anything I want to lock. The biggest lock would be a Savage Bear, right? Alright, we don't have to worry about it because we won. We realized it. GG. So that's exactly what I was talking about earlier in that game. Like, we play Lockdown, so when we play Lippy and we play Vi, we get a win. Vi can win. Vi and Lippy, they can both win, but it requires some setup. Basically, I've found having enough locks prevents them from getting a setup where they can get their stuff off, right? Because if the Brockvar Hunter can hit your own units, so they can have a Brockvar Hunter, they play Serrit, they have to shield many with a Brockvar Hunter. That's one way they can do it. They can do it with the Small Blood Totem, like the guy tried, like that guy did in that game. And Vi, if you're playing more removal cards instead of just locks, there's a chance that they something is boosted by a couple points somewhere, and you can't kill it. Say they just start with Crystal, the Veil thing, the +4 in Veil, and then they just boost a consume card, and you don't have an answer to it, right? Well, we could Vincent it or Heatwaver, obviously, but say we don't have any of those, we just have our bronze cards and a few golds that aren't those. Then this is what the biggest thing is I found was when I was playing the more removal cards instead of locks. Honestly, you can't lock it either, but that's not a good example. But say they place +5 boost on it, and then it's too big and you can't kill it with a removal card. That's what I'm talking about. Some stuff like that where the locks, I just found the locks do better overall. So Tyranny Joust. So like I was saying, I think I mentioned this earlier. Since Lockdown is so good versus Lippy and Vi, a lot of people play Lockdown, right? So you have to expect a lot of Lockdown mirror matches, and if you're not playing Lippy or Vi, you should also just expect a lot of Lockdown matches. So just keep that in mind. It could also just be the people I'm playing against. different ranks play different people, and people play different people. Who knows who's matching up with you on the ladder at any given time, right? So this is another thing I found. Lockdown decks tend to use a lot of removal cards, right? So this guy's played what turn he just? It's Coated Weapons, right? So I'm guessing he's playing the mess up your opponent's deck version. I've seen this too. It's where you play like a Viper Witcher, put cards on top of their deck, Coated Weapons with stuff on top of their deck, put the Guardian on top of their deck, that type of stuff, just to mess up their deck. So basically, if you don't have your good cards in round 1 and save them for round 2 and 3, you'll draw really bad cards in round 2 and 3, right? So you don't get your good cards. That's the idea. I used that before. I think that's why I got to pro rank with last season. It's alright. It's actually pretty good, but I got tired of it after using it for like a week or so. So I made this deck instead for my Nilfgaard deck. So I'm kind of surprised that this Thirsty Dame's not dead yet, honestly. It's playing Barbus. I'm guessing this is a 2-round deck with Masquerade Ball. So actually he's using... Why call it Barbus? That's the wrong game. It's Knickers. We're not playing Elder Scrolls Legends. If we were playing Elder Scrolls Legends, we wouldn't play Barbus anyway. So yeah, okay, Roach. Okay, so this is a 2-round deck. It's gonna mess up my draws for round 2. So I really need to just save. This is how I'm thinking about this game. I need to save as many good cards from round 2 as possible, right? Because I'm gonna draw like 3 bad cards. That's what I'm expecting. Also, we're gonna bleed this and hopefully get our Hunting Pact out. Although I'm assuming if we play Hunting Pact out, we're gonna get one on top of our deck. There's not really much we can do about that at this point, so we're just gonna accept it. And just save as many good cards for round 2 as possible. Round 2, we're going to need Masquerade Ball, so we need Oneiromancy. We're going to need Aristocrats, we're going to need Vincent. And we're going to need Heat Wave for his Masquerade Ball, I'm guessing. Although, if he's playing Roach and Knickers, that's a lot of provisions. He's already played Meadow Corn too. Maybe he doesn't have enough provisions for Masquerade Ball. Maybe he's playing something else. Like a Soldier's version or something. No, he's playing Witchers. Huh. Honestly, I'm a little confused. I'm not sure whether or not to expect the Masquerade Ball in round 2. I really expect them to push hard round 2 though. Menno could also mean it is a Colgrim deck with Roach and Knickers. Yeah, it's probably a Colgrim deck. Should have thought of that one earlier. Okay, so here's Colgrim. I need Heat Wave and Invocation for Kingslayer. Actually, we need Heat Wave or Invocation because they can't Kingslayer if we take it. But I don't want to just kill it, right? So I just like poison it twice. I've seen people playing Renew to renew it back, all in on the Colgrims. So I really need to get out of this round. I want to lock. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lock Cynthia, I think her name is, with the Armor Cavalry, so that way if we need to we can Venomar it for 6 removal points with an Oneiromancy. That's not great. We can also Vincent it for 9-point swing here if we want. But I'm guessing we're gonna get a Hunting Pact on top of our deck still. We got the Guardian, right? So maybe he won't give us a Hunting Pact. The Guardian's extra annoying in monsters if you're playing Naglfar, and in Nilfgaard if you're playing Roderick, because it's a gold that interferes with the look at 2, right? So both those cards look at 2 golds and you pick one, and the Guardian counts as a gold card. It's a 3 version nothing.
The senses can be fooled easily.
Okay, so we are going to get a Hunting Pact on top of our deck. Actually, we might be able to pass here. That's a very, very low point swing. Yeah, okay, we get a pass. Nice. I was really concerned we were going to lose on even here. I was almost convinced we were going to without having to play Vincent or something big, but he gave us a chance here to pass, which is good. With his Hunting Pact, we'll get his out. So, this isn't too bad. I expect him to push hard this round, and then we'll be up a card. Probably going to have to commit our Masquerade Ball. I'm guessing he'll commit his. We have a Heat Wave for it. That's probably, if he has it rather, because I think he's actually playing Colgrim, now that I'm thinking about it more. Almost certainly playing a Colgrim deck. So I want to get my Invocation, get rid of those 2. Immediately just drop the cards that he put on top of my deck, because that's not the things I want in my hand. This hand's looking pretty good though. Right, so we can Oneiromancy out the Masquerade Ball if we need to. We get 1 activation from Vincent if we need it, but we have 2 other poisons in our hand. Or we could purify something if he poisons it from us. So the question is then, is it a Letho Colgrim or Sirinova Colgrim? Probably Letho, right? No, it's Sirinova. Okay, so it's a Sirinova Colgrim deck. Alright, I've seen a couple of these. Unfortunately for this guy, I happen to be holding Vincent. And this is one of the best Vincent targets in the entire game. And there it goes. I will argue that that might be a better Vincent target than a defender. Because you can just purify the defender. Right, and hit what's behind it. Vincent kills it too. Alright, let's be honest. They're very similar in value. Honestly, he might just pass. If he just passes, we go up a card in round 3 with last say. That's really nice. We'll go up a card and we'll get last say back. Which is really important, because Colgrim we need to interact with. So the reason I was saying we need Invocation and Heatwave is because we need to remove the defender who's been put in front of Colgrim. And we've used our Vincent now, so that's not an option. We have our Purify still though, so I want to save that. We don't get Invocation. If we don't get Invocation, we'll save the Cupbearer so we can Purify the defender, because I'm assuming he's a defender in front. That's my thoughts here. A lot of 4 provision cards here. Roderick? Alright, I'm gonna keep Roderick. But I'm serious Roderick here. I'll get rid of the Master of Disguise. I kinda like the Fangs of the Empires here, right? Because we need another, what's it called? Aristocrat. Because right now we only have 1 and Masquerade Balls in our deck. If we know our Neuromancy out Masquerade Ball, then we only have 1 option. Or 1 activation, I mean. So I really need another Hunting Pact. Alright, that's really not what I wanted. But I'll just play it first. If he has whatever, he can do whatever he wants. We'll just get this out of our hand. He'll know what's in our hand anyway because I have his card back on it. So I guess we're gonna have Neuromancy out. Masquerade Ball at some point. We have Letho, but not Auckes or Serrit. That's pretty awkward. I guess Letho's gonna be our 8-point finisher. So I think that's the biggest target he has. Right, for a Heat Wave he might be playing. Well, he's not playing Heat Wave. Invocation he might be playing. Or yeah, 8 is probably the biggest target we have. There's not Coded Weapons. Yep, Zeus not Hunting Pact. It's alright, we're not going to use our deck. I guess this would be really annoying him doing that if we were playing Joachim. Glad we're not playing Joachim. There's no point in not playing Masquerade Ball, right? Because he knows we're going to play it. I'm assuming he's figured that out at this point because he played Thirsty Dames and stuff. And honestly, if he has a Heat Wave and he Heat Waves this, I could care less. I only have 1 activation. So if he Heat Waves it, we miss out on what? 1 poison, 1 point boost, and 4 points. It's like 6. Heat Waving that's only worth 6 for us. That's actually much better than if you Heat Wave the Thirsty Dame, which is kind of funny. Roderick could be pretty bad here, right? If we get specifically Vanamar the Guardian, Roderick could be like a really awful card because we get 1 point out of that. Because I'm not going to be able to set up a lock for Vanamar. Alright, so Viper Witcher Adept. Poison that. It's honestly not bad. I think we'll just play Roderick. Get a poison out, see if we can't get something good. Yeah, that's probably a good play. That's probably what we want to do. So we have Guardian, Vanamar, Auckes, and Serrit. Okay. 2 good. There's 1 bad combination from these cards. And this is it. This is not what we wanted. I guess we're playing the Guardian. It's worth the same. Actually, it's worth more. Oh, maybe not worth more. It's 3 points. The same thing. Whatever. Maybe he thinks we only have 1 gold card in our deck and that's the Guardian. That'd make him think. That'd make him think we have a really good hand, which would be nice. Viper Witcher, yeah, we're getting our Guardian. We'll guarantee it. There it is. Don't care. Like I was saying earlier, I just want all my good cards from round 1 and 2, mostly round 1, to carry over because we're not going to draw anything good for the rest of the game. Well, we did manage to get Invocation somehow.
Drinking can be hazardous to your health.
There's a +1 poison. Play our Fangs of the Empire. We have 1 more activation that we're never going to use for our Masquerade Ball. But we have Invocation and Heat Wave, so his Colgrim's not going to do anything. So his last two cards, I'm guessing, are either a combination of Colgrim and Invocation, or what's the Witcher guy that boosts himself by the highest provision card in the opponent's deck, right? So he's going to put our own Neuromancy on top of our deck. Okay, here's what's happening. His last card is going to be Colgrim, and the guy that boosts himself by the top card of our deck. Colgrim is Adrenaline 3, so he's have one more. He might have two of those. So I can Heat Wave and Invocation, Colgrim, and one of those. And then I'll have another play. So there's a Berenger. I think as long as I'm up by... We have 8. I think as long as I'm... Oh wait, if we Invocation something goes to the top of our deck, right? Then you won't get the Neuromancy points. So once... I think this is Colgrim, and then 2 Viper Witcher Adepts. There's Colgrim, so we're going to get rid of this. We're going to Heat Wave this. He's going to put Neuromancy on top of our deck. He's going to boost himself by it twice, since he's going to have a Heat Wave, or he's going to have an Invocation. I think we got this. So this is going to top our deck with a Neuromancy. He's going to get a plus 13. We're going to Invocation it. We'll still be up by about the same points. And then either we get Invocation and lose our Thirsty Dame, and then we play Letho and we win, or there's another one of these, and it gets a plus 6 from us. Actually, it still get
Strike first and strike hard.
has the Adrenaline for the highest card in the deck, so actually this doesn't work. But I think we're still fine. So he's up. He's down by 11. He's gonna play this. It's gonna be a 13. Set itself. Letho takes it. All right. I guess this works out. Interesting.
Monsters. No, a ghost.
Didn't really expect this the whole time, but this is a problem with Colgrim decks. If they kill Colgrim, you really don't have a lot of value. So after playing with this deck a while, I think there are a few things I might change, but not too much. Obviously, I'm going to keep the Masquerade Bow and the Aristocrats, along with an Neuromancer Heat Wave. Vincent, I don't know about Vincent. Vincent seems good. We have plenty of ways to give statuses and destroy them. I think the Auckes, Serrit, and Letho, I mean, in the 7 and 8 point range, which is mainly what I want to replace this with, because I don't want to just have, a couple power cards and nothing, and like only 4 provision cards, so I want something with some power to it. So I think this is a good choice. The other thing we could do, I like Hefty Helga, but I don't want to put in too many tactics. And here's the reason why, is I hate losing to no unit decks, because you have too much removal. So it just feels awful, and I'd rather just lose another game instead of that. That's pretty much it. So instead of the removal options, I think the Letho, Auckes, and Serrit are fine. If you're finding out that you don't like it because you don't get them in your hand enough and that it just not working out for you, I would say probably just add in Urchin of Eichenwald, or Erlenwald, sorry. He's a good card. You can always put in some of your other cards you could play. Swears if you want. It's not bad. If you want to go for... Oh yeah, we can also put in Bribery. Here's the thing though, is Bribery's bribery, and I didn't feel like playing Bribery, even though it's Nilfgaard. So yeah, you could put in Bribery, and then Urchin of Erlenwald, and Swears. Or you could add in... what's that guy's name? Here. You could always just put in the Frenzied Dow if you want for movement. I'm just kidding, you probably don't want to use that. But you know what? Any of these cards are fine. Any of the 7s are fine. That you want to play. I'm a neutral. We're not going to probably be using a neutral, but you get what I'm saying. Whatever you want to play, you can. You can always use False Theory. Remember this destroyed an artifact? I think it used to. But yeah, there's plenty of options here. You can always drop one of these and then put in some more 5s instead of 4s. Like we have 4 provision cards. Well, 4 different ones with 8 total. You can run some more cards if you want. Like if say you want to put soldiers in instead, that's fine. Put in your Arfin Tortoises, your Crossbowmen. You can try out the Pikemen. Put in a Purify if you want with a Diviner. There's a lot of options, and that's quite nice, I think. So yeah, I'm happy with the lack of removal spells or removal actions. I don't think it's a big problem. And if you want to play a more tactic version, go ahead. The other thing is, there is some thinning, but I think I could use more. The problem is there's no room for Imperial Brigades, and I'm not putting Knickers or Roach into this type of deck. So I think it's fine. I might want to put in Mata. Mata might be a good choice. If you drop Vincent for Mata, then only have 5 aristocrats. But I like the deck. It seems quite good. And one thing about playing Lockdown right now is that there's a lot of other Lockdown decks. You want to be able to beat their Lockdown decks. And that's where having so many points instead of removal cards, I found helps out quite a bit, right? So yeah, that's what I think of the deck. I think it's pretty interesting. Lockdown's really good right now, in my opinion at least. And apparently a lot of other people's opinions because it's everywhere. But yeah, pretty good. I might drop these poisons. The thing is, the Fangs of the Empire and the Cupbearer, I don't think we need the extra poisons. But it's nice to have the option if you want to, because it's kind of reminiscent of the old, like, old Square Tile deck where you'd have the 2 Dryads and the Oak, right? Not the Oak, the Wandering guy. I forget his name right now. You just have 3 poisons in your deck. And then you might get them together in a hand, and then you have 1 set of poison removals. This is reminiscent of that. And the other thing is, if they purify, if you don't have any extra poisons, and they purify off of the Masquerade Ball, the second, what's his name? Fangs of the Empire is very much value. So I like it. I like this deck. Maybe I'll make some changes to it in the future, but that's it for now. If you guys want to try it out, let me know how it goes.